I've been a resident of Lexington since 1980 my wife and our children grew up here, originally from the Cincinnati area. I have a group called Frontier Folk, which it's a loose group of folks that we help to staff different historic events, and sometimes they're educational, sometimes they're a variety of other things, some type of event at a specific historic site. But we will get together whoever in the group that needs to be involved with a certain project and find out what the needs are, and then we'll staff that. Sometimes we're doing demonstrations, sometimes it's a longer project like this, sometimes it's a day or weekend project. This project started about 5 years ago, and I believe I'm the third chair of this committee. And there was a lot of course, red tape that we had to work through to get things set up with the city to be able to do these projects that we have. We actually started out with we have a smaller, what we call a half-face shelter over here. And the half-face shelter would be something that someone would live in for maybe if they were just staying somewhere for a couple weeks or a month. And then the project behind me is one that we had gone through different phases trying to figure out how to do this. One of the ideas was to maybe look for an old log cabin to bring in. But when you start thinking about it, a lot of times the cabins that you would find would be something from maybe the late 1800s, and it would look very old and it would be very authentic, but it would be 100 years past the time period we're looking for, and might be too big for what we're trying to portray. So what we decided to do was to look into trying to get donations for the cabin behind us. And this cabin is actually what you would call an improvement cabin, which means that when someone would come and they would survey the land they were interested in Kentucky and during the frontier times, and then they would be required to build some type of building and plant some type of crop. And so typically they would plant an acre of corn, and then they would build some kind of, usually it would not be very extensive, it would be a relatively small building. And so that's what we're representing. So this would have a dirt floor, it will have no chimney, it'll have a door and a window or two, but beyond that, a roof. But beyond that, it will not be a fancy type of cabin. Cabins that you want to last a long time, you would probably want to have a more extensive foundation than what we have here. What we decided to do, instead of just putting this on the ground, we did decide to have a very minimal foundation. So you can see that we actually just have 4 corner rocks, and then we will actually put some other rocks underneath the logs just to protect them from bugs and rot. And one of the interesting things about especially when you're talking about comparing this to the other type of moving an old cabin here, would be the notches that you have on the corners of the logs. This is called a saddle notch, and we've made some variations on it, which we found out that they would do, but for the most part this is the type of notch that would have had at this time. Now they would have had different notches in different places, different cultures, different years, and so what we wanted to do was portray as accurately as possible the type of structure that they would have, and that would be one of the things that they would do. After we started working on this, I had some of the young reenactors say that they didn't know of any place in the United States where anybody was doing anything like this. And so for them to, one of the things that we try to do is not just dress up like the pioneers, but there's a lot of us that we want to go out and have the experiences and learn the skills. And so we will go out all times a year. We will go out camping We will go out on horseback and canoe. Sometimes we'll go deer hunting with our Kentucky flintlock long rifles, and we will have those experiences that the pioneers did to a small extent. And so it gives us a feel for what it's like. And they were telling us that this is one of the skills that they would have had that they didn't know of any place that was doing anything like that. So they were just very grateful that they would have a chance to come and to volunteer and to learn how to build a log cabin under someone that had had some experience doing it. And we are now in the process of getting some logs that we can cut into the shingles or shakes that you would call it, because what you're doing is you're splitting out the wood to make it instead of sawing it. And this would be for the shingles for the roof. So that is really where we're kind of stopped right now, but we do have a couple possibilities of places where we can get those. We're trying to get donations to keep the costs down and also to get the community involved. So once we get those, then we have the woodworkers that will be helping us through the winter and other people to split out those shakes. And so hopefully we'll be able to, sometime in the late winter or early spring, to be able to schedule. My estimate is that we will need another maybe 2 or 3 days to finish up. And so we're hoping by the spring of 2014 to have it pretty much complete and just be doing some little things to finish it up. And then we want to have it ready for Founders Day in May, so that we can do a full living history demonstration here and show surveyors or family living here, and have some animals running around and be cooking our food over here. And so it'll be a good demonstration time period.